Question 76.
76.
Let the question be answered.
Question number 76, a statement. The statement is laid on the table of the House, A to C.
Respected sir, there is a widespread apprehension that the allocation of just 33,152 crores for health, the government will not be able to keep the existing healthcare program operational. The ambitious National Health Assurance Mission, which was supposed to provide citizens basic healthcare services, is likely to be a non-starter. However, the government-linked healthcare moved to private insurance sector with exemption allowing more people to expand cover and increasing the incentive to buy health insurance. This will only help to the private hospital, whether the rich and middle class have to the access. The poor patients will be left to the government hospital, and the budget
What is the question?
The budget reduction will be adversely affect the health care needs of the poor people. Therefore, I would like to know from the Honorable Minister, what are the steps taken by the government to continue to provide a complete basket of service with the present allocation.
But why couldn't you have asked the question without this preliminary statement? Go ahead, please.
First of all, I would like to, my answer is very clear, that this healthcare program and the question asked related to the flagship program, I would like to tell the honorable member that the healthcare flagship program is going to continue. And here also I would like to share with the House, and as everybody knows in the House, that we all represent the Union of the States, that is, we represent the states, and it was a long-standing demand of the state that more financial powers should come to the state. The 14th Finance Commission, the recommendations of the 14th Finance Commission has been accepted by the Government of India, and because of that, a lot of devolution of funds is going to take place for the states. Approximately, the fund devolution is from 32% to 42%, which means an extra of 1,76,000 crores, which is going to go to the states. And at the same time, the center is also very clear about it to keep its commitment. So that commitment we are going to keep. All center flagship program is divided into 75-25 ratio. And in the northeast states, it's a 90-10 ratio. So accordingly, we will take care and see to it that with the financial devolution, they will have more flexibility, but at the same time, center remains committed for those programs, and that programs will be continued. Funds allocation will be there.
Thank you. Second question.
Under the guidance of Honorable Prachitalavi Amma's Tamil Nadu government is implementing Chief Minister Comprehensive Insurance Scheme for all people whose income is below 72,000 per annum, with a maximum of 4 lakhs rupees insurance coverage per family. Several crores of people benefited by this scheme and are able to keep up good health. Therefore, I would like to know from the Honorable Minister whether the government is considering to implement such scheme throughout the country.
First of all, I must say that Tamil Nadu in the health sector has really put the percentage of budget in health sector is much more than the other states, number one. Number two, with this devolution of financial powers, they will have more funds which they can utilize for their programs in the health sector according to the need of the place. As far as the good practices being implemented in Tamil Nadu, sir, we have a provision that every year we have a meeting of all the health secretaries and health ministers where we discuss about the good practices being taken care by being implemented by various states, and this month, the next month in Jaipur, it's going to take place, where the good practices being implemented or being practiced in Tamil Nadu, that will also be coming, and other states will be asked to replicate in their respective states. So good practices जो भी Tamil Nadu ने किया है, उसको हम all India level पर, this is how we are going to replicate.
Thank you. Shri Digvijay Singh.
Sir, to you I'd like to ask the Honourable Minister, although I commend the Government of India on accepting the Finance Commission recommendation of increasing the devolution of central taxes from 32% to 42%. But the fact remains...
Is there an option, sir? Huh? It's mandatory.
It is not mandatory, it is an option. Sir, through you I'd like to ask him, how would the Honourable Minister of the Health ensure that one of the biggest problem today in the country is the poor human development index and the poor health indicators in the country. How would Honourable Minister ensure, or the Government of India ensure, in the state governments, that the larger kitty available in the state resources will be used for the health services?
Sir, first of all, an initiative has been taken by the Ministry of Health here in Government of India. It was being taken care earlier also, but we have been concentrating more on it to see to it that the funds allocated to the states are rightly utilized. And whatever the gaps are left in between, that is taken care. This is what we have been doing it. As far as the Honourable Member has asked about in future, in coming times, how this being taken, this money is going to go to the health sector, that is absolutely with the states. We can only suggest them, we can only give them the 75% of it, and accordingly they have to give in their own program. But the flexibility of making the programs, all the flagship programs, we are going to continue. But other initiatives have to come from the state. We are going to take care as far as the funding part is concerned.
Shri Bhupender Singh.
स्पेसिफिक जानना चाहता हूं आपके माध्यम से चेयरमैन सर, मंत्री महोदय से, कि जो गरीब तबका है, बीपीएल कैटेगरी के जो लोग हैं, एक यूनिफॉर्म पॉलिसी होगी क्या कि उनका चाहे किडनी ट्रांसप्लांट हो, कुछ भी हो, तो उसके लिए उनको सब किस्म की कब तक उनकी स्वास्थ्य के लिए सरकार बिना कोई पैसा लिए उनका ऑपरेशन के लिए जो भी जरूरत है उसकी सुरक्षा दे पाएगी, कब तक?
सरकार प्रयासरत है इस विषय पर. हमारी कोशिश है, बहुत से ऐसे खास करके नॉन कम्युनिकेबल डिजीजेस अभी जिनकी संख्या बहुत बढ़ी है और उनका इलाज बड़ा महंगा है, और इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है कि आम आदमी के लिए उसका इलाज कराना कठिन है. सरकार इसके बारे में चिंता प्रकट भी कर रही है और चिंता करते हुए इस पर विचार कर रही है कि कोई ऐसे कार्यक्रम बने जिसमें ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हम उनको पैसा दे सके और आउट ऑफ पॉकेट एक्सपेंडिचर जो है वो कम हो सके. इस बात के लिए हम प्रयास करते हैं.
Shri Manishanga Iyer.
Honorable Minister aware that although the share of the states in devolution of central tax revenues has gone up from 32 to 42%, the total resources available to the states has actually come down by 1% from 63 to 62%. And in this context, where all the states feel that they don't have enough revenues, and the revenues have come down this year, how is he going to ensure that his constitutional responsibility under Part 9 of the Constitution, read with the 11th schedule, for primary health in this country is actually going to be effected by the states in the absence of any institutional arrangements for center-state consultation, bearing in mind that the 14th Finance Commission recommended this increase from 32 to 42% subject to appropriate institutional arrangements being put in place for center-state relations in this and other sectors.
Thank you.
So this question does not only relate to the health, it relates to the finance ministry as a whole. As far as, and I think the finance minister will be in a better position to answer. As far as the health part is concerned, sir, as far as the health part is concerned,
CDS are going to collapse in this
sir,
system.
as far as the health part is concerned, we have got state committees and state councils for NHM, and accordingly, the demand comes from them, the planning part is done by them, it is done at the district level, supported by the state level, it comes to the central level. This is the system which is adopted, and accordingly the fund is given. And that we will ensure. We also see to it that there is a flexi pool which takes care according to the need at the grassroots level, at the ground level, whatever is needed, the fund is provided accordingly, and whatever extra they need, that is also given by the center. So that system is well in place, and that will take care.
Question 77, questioner not present, let the answer be laid on the table. Yes. Just a minute, just a minute. Yes, Shri Yechuri.
Sir, this, I had the fortune to serve as the chairman of the standing committee that examined these rules, sir. So with, and we have given two reports of the standing committee on this particular issue. The route dispersal guidelines, sir. There's already been a lot of complaints on the manner in which these routes have been dispersed, favoring the private airlines as against the Indian Airlines at various points of time during the course of the last decade. Now you have said in your reply, sir, there is a further revision that is under active consideration. Now, the revision under active consideration should provide a level playing field to all the airlines. Now, is that being adhered to? Because we had provided a chart to the Government of India then on how the lucrative routes have been given away to the private airlines, and because the Indian Airlines stopped flying on them. And because of this, there has been a clear-cut bias against the state airlines, state-owned airlines. In this situation, the other rule on the basis of which they have to fly to areas that are not normally serviceable or profit-making. In the case of every single natural disaster, is the Indian Airlines alone in many cases, that comes to the rescue of the government in all the operations of relief. Now, all these categories, we were told, will be applicable to all the airlines, private airlines as well, when they start operating. That has never been followed in the last decade. Now you say, sir, in B part of it, the proposed revision of the RDGs, additional airports will also be included in the underserved areas. Now, the point is, what is the ratio? It was earlier said 20% of the routes should cover the underserved sectors, and it is of natural humanitarian interest. Requirement. In the Northeast, people use the airlines as buses, and without that there is no communication at all.
What's the question?
Sir, the question is, are these conditions and rules applicable to the private airlines? Is the government adhering to it that there will be a level playing field?
Thank you.
For Indian Airlines and the others?
Thank you.
Sir, with regard to the route dispersal guidelines, it is basically to increase the connectivity in our country, and we are working on it. We do have airports, around 31 airports, where no aircraft has landed for a little over a year, and we want to make those airports also active. The route dispersal guidelines will apply both to the private and the public sector.
No, please.
As a Maharaja, only one comment, sir.
No,
As a
no
Maharaja,
discussion.
I'll ask him to take care of the actual Maharaja of the airlines, sir.
Please,
The
please.
Air India Maharaja, please take care of it.
Okay, next question. Shri Praful Patel.
Just add to what Mr. Yechuri said. Sir, these route dispersal guidelines came into force. Sir, the route dispersal guidelines came into force around 93-94, when the first time private airlines were given permission to operate in this country. And this route dispersal guideline has been in force since then, applicable to all airlines, private or public. They have stood the test of time. Various governments have come, including the NDA government earlier, including many governments in between also, and everybody has realized that connectivity, as Mr. Yechuri mentioned, to faraway places has been ensured because route dispersal guidelines may have category 1 for metro to metro, category 2 connecting the remote parts which the minister has mentioned in his statement, category 2A which is intra that region, and category 3 is between metro, non-metro and non-metro to non-metro. Now the point here, limited point here, sir, is if we abolish the route dispersal guidelines, he has said no. If he said no to the abolition of route dispersal guidelines, that's a welcome point. But when he says that I will also do away with 520, 520, what is essentially 520? Any carrier which operates in the Indian skies under an Indian air operator's permit shall have to follow route dispersal guidelines. When you abolish 520, then from day one, if any carrier can fly internationally, I have no issues. I mean, I always feel any sector should be dynamic and evolving. So there is no dispute to that extent. But the point is, how does he draw a balance if from day one, if I don't even have to service any part of the country as an obligation, I can start flying abroad without servicing my own country. If an air operator's permit is issued by the DGC of India and does not serve India first and serves outside before it serves India, I think we are defeating the purpose. So all I'm trying to say, sir, is while whatever they choose to do, the limited issue should be that the airlines which have flown in India, flown so-called unprofitable routes, served the far remote areas of the country, how are they going to be then justified in continuing to do so while anybody who starts today need not do that and can do whatever he wants?
Thank you.
So I think some kind of balance, is it being sought to be drawn? I have no issue as far as the nomenclature is concerned. These are all, symbolic, 520 or RDG. But the point is this connectivity, what Mr. Yechuri mentioned, and it has to be level. So therefore, what happens to the airlines which have serviced the nation's needs all these years, including Air India, which Mr. Yechuri mentioned, what happens as a level playing field, as a principle of level playing field?
Thank you.
Please will the minister clarify?
Sir, it is our duty. We are bound to develop rural connectivity. In fact, we are committed to it. So the illusion that we are giving up rural connectivity, I'm trying to dispel it, sir. There is no such a thing. Sir, any Indian regulation regulates Indian players, whether they are public sector or private sector. And he is in favor of this rule 520. That is.
I never said I'm in favor or against.
It's all right. Let the answer be given.
At a level playing field.
Sir, this 5 aircraft or 5 years and 20 aircraft is a rule, I think, to my knowledge, subject to correction, is nowhere in the world. It is pulling down Indian players, and there are a lot of representations on that regard. We do agree that whatever we come out with has to be a level playing field and has to help the Indian players here, sir. We are at it, sir. We can't give up our rural connectivity, and we have to use our unutilized bilaterals.
Thank you. Shri Rajyapan. No, please, it's not your question. Please, it's not your question. It's not your question. Please.
Sir, thank you, sir. When the proposed revision of the RDG is happening, the international airlines are ready to come forward to have it in Madurai, which is already having only Sri Lanka is allowed to have the international airlines to fly. Whether this will be taken into consideration when you are making a revision of these particular rules?
Sir, these rules are basically, they bind Indian players. The rules that we formulate bind Indian players. Any international player is not bound by these rules. And in the SAC, this thing, so it's an open sky policy there, sir, in SAC countries. So they are free to come into India and we are free to go there.
Question 78.
Laid at the table of the House.
Sir, I refer to the Honorable Minister's reply through you, where he claims that 100% household coverage in West Bengal. So the government's own figures in according to the Planning Commission, according to the census, which both say that it's not 100%. So I would like to, sir, through you, know through the minister that why is the government itself speaking in different tones and different figures, and if his reply is wrong. And so another part of it is banking, he refers to Bank Mitra. Sir, 2% commission is charged by these Bank Mitras people. Sir, is there any proposal to bring down this commission so as to provide relief to the rural people?
Sir, the honorable members asked a good question about financial inclusion in West Bengal. We all agree that financial inclusion is a very deserving goal across the country. And I'd just like to go through the facts so that we are very clear about what we are speaking about in terms of the answer that's been laid on the table of the House and where we are currently. Now, the facts that the honorable member is alluding to are based on a 2011 census number, which is what we have also expressed in the statement that's laid at the table of the House. That 2011 census was conducted in 2009, 2010, so that data is 4 or 5 years old. Now, in that data, it is absolutely correct. That data does say that there are a significant number of inhabited villages that don't have any banking coverage. And in addition to that, only about 40% of the rural households have got banking facilities. But that is data that is 5 years old, which is what we got from the census. That's official government data which we presented to you. Now, as you know, once our government came in, we took this question of financial inclusion and universal coverage very, very seriously. And we put in place the Jan Dhan Yojana program, where we divided the entire country into a variety of smaller areas. And then what we did was we instructed all the banks and all the other financial institutions in each of the states to actually go out, run camps, make sure people left the banks, went into the villages, went and knocked on people's houses and ensured that if they were not banked, that they would be banked. And of course, as you all know, and we have reported many times thereafter, is that we were able to open 12.54 crore accounts that way. And then when we went in and we surveyed each of these households, the number which was only 40% previously, the 2011 census number, now that we've surveyed it in 2015, is now 100%. So this is what our government has accomplished, and we are very proud to report that. So in that sense, what you saw in 2010, 2011 has changed dramatically because of the hard work and the program that we put in place on a mission note. That was your first question, honorable member, sir. Second question was regarding
one question at a time.
Okay, well,
You can ask your second supplementary.
Sir, the second question which was about this Bank Mitra, and also, sir, the KYC norms which are preventing both rural people to go to postal offices, which are trying to give some banking facilities in the absence of bank branches, and a hardship to the poor village population. Is there any proposal to dilute the KYC norms or make it simpler and easier for the rural population to follow?
Sir, I think honorable member is making breaching protocol again because of one question I need to answer. He's asked two questions, but I'll answer the first question. Maybe then you might want to ask a second question. I'll answer it. But with respect to the banking mitra, let's be clear. And if I were to ask the honorable member to engage in any activity, honorable member will ask, why should I do this activity? What's the gain in it for me? And therefore, for the banking mitras, we have to make it lucrative. We have to make it possible for them to be able to go out and do the hard work necessary of providing banking facilities in lots of remote and far-flung villages, which is why we are trying to ensure that it is an activity that economically they find viable, that they find feasible to engage in, which is why we are ensuring that they're getting a small amount of honorarium stipend that enables them to be able to provide these very necessary and important financial services, which is why they are being paid what they are being paid. It's not, we don't believe in any way that it is driving up the cost for the people availing themselves of the service, because it's being paid for the banks. In any case, it's not being paid by the people that are availing themselves of the service. Now, should I respond to his second question or should he ask it again?
One at a time. Shri Ramakrishna, on West Bengal. No, the question is on West Bengal. So let the supplementaries be on West Bengal.
Last year, I happened to be in a parliamentary departmental committee visiting Manipur. In Manipur, outside Imphal, there are hardly any ATM, let alone branches.
No, we'll take that up later. Please
Sir,
ask on
it's
West
connected
Bengal.
with the same issue, sir.
No, no. It's all right, Shri Tapan Sen. Yes, please.
Sir, thank you, sir. The reply of the Honorable Minister says that as per latest data, there are 35,592 unbanked village. And Honorable Minister telling that it is old data, current data may be something else. It was prepared on the basis of 2011 census. But as a minister in charge of this banking system, you can tell us that since 2011 till now, how many branches of the banks have been newly set up in the rural areas of Bengal. You spoke about the Jan Dhan Yojana and also telling that 12 crore. But in the banks where there is no bank, in the area there is no bank at all. Even when a person remaining in the remotest villages have his account on the subdivisional cities, that does not become of much help to him. So kindly tell us that from 2000, even if it is based on 2011 census data, what is till last already 4 years have passed, during this period how many new bank branches have been opened in the rural areas of West Bengal? Then at least that will project the picture how you are advancing in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Has asked a very good question. I in fact have the data that he's looking for. In the 4 years since then, there have been 707 rural branches opened. And in addition to that, in the last year or so, since we've introduced the Banking Mitra program, the business correspondence program, over 20,000, that is 20,445 business correspondents have also gotten to work in West Bengal and are now covering this. The latest data that we are getting from West Bengal is that all Gram Panchayat headquarters, there are 3,354 Gram Panchayats which have a banking outlet. All 3,300 have it, 3,354. 2,638 Gram Panchayat headquarters have a brick and mortar branch. 351 Gram Panchayat headquarters have a bank branch within 5 kilometers. And 365 Gram Panchayat headquarters have a bank mitra. Yes, exactly. You asked for the data, so I'm reading it out for you. No, I am telling you, Gram Panchayat headquarter and being a banking village.
Just 1 minute,
Clearly, he didn't hear the facts that I provided him. I told him clearly, in the last few years, we have opened 707 rural branches. Point 1. Point 2. 20,445 business correspondents are at work, as a result of which all Gram Panchayats are now covered in West Bengal. I am presuming that that data satisfies the member. Thank you.
Shri,
out of 35,000 you have put 707.
Your question is on West Bengal?
My question is related with Pradhan Mantri's Jan Dhan Yojana.
No.
So,
the question is on West Bengal.
Sir, regarding the
please
opening
ask
of
this question on
accounts,
West Bengal.
regarding the opening of accounts in the banks by the common people. Sir, yesterday the Focus TV has very profusely told that hundreds of villagers are going to different banks to open their accounts, but the banks are not entertaining them. They are asking them, we don't have such provisions or we can't do it. So how, if the banks, even including State Bank, ICICI Bank, SDF banks, all banks, they are the reporters along with the cameraman of that Focus TV visited, and they have shown if the banks take this negative attitude, how the Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana will be successful.
Sir, with respect to this question, which obviously does not pertain to West Bengal but is a general question, I have three responses to that. The first response is if this was the attitude of the banks, and they were not opening bank accounts, how do we have 100% coverage across India, which we have reported back? So I find that I'm puzzled by what he has brought up. If indeed there is an isolated incident of this kind, I would request all honorable members to get in touch with banking ombudsperson. Every bank in the country has an ombudsperson. You may please bring up your complaints there, and if you have specific instances where banks are not doing the job, please bring it up to them. And if you're not satisfied with that, sir, if honorable members are not satisfied, they can please send me a letter. I will follow up and ensure that whatever problems they have are addressed.
Thank you. Shri Bandyopadhyay.
Whether, while we are talking of expanding the banking system, there is an attempt to restrict and wind up regional banks in West Bengal. Regional rural banks in West Bengal. Regional rural banks in West Bengal.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure, I understood.
Please repeat the question.
Whether there is an attempt to withdraw or restrict the functioning of regional rural banks in West Bengal.
To my knowledge, there is no such restriction that is being contemplated or is being put into reality.
Thank you. Question 79.
It's laid on the table as off.
Thank you. Now, supplementary, please.
In the last few years, last 4 or 5 years, the armed forces have lost 28 aircrafts and 14 helicopters in crashes, killing 42 people totally and incurring in a huge loss. Now, I just want to know from the minister that whether inadequate training to pilots, aging machines and shoddy maintenance, they all combine to constitute a deadly mix for our armed forces, and how the government plans to confront these challenges.
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, sir, the question is regarding helicopter crashes resulting into deaths of army personnel. I like to tell the minister that 6 months period which he has asked is too small to compare. However, we have record for blocks of 5 years for last 24 years, and from that record we can find out that the number of accidents have come down and the deaths also reported have come down. For your information, from 86 to 91 there were 22 accidents, 19 deaths, 91 to 96, 10 accidents, 6 deaths, 96 to 2001, 13 accidents, 14 deaths, 2001 to 6, 10 accidents, 5 deaths, 2006 to 11 accidents, 14 deaths, and during last 4 years, 7 accidents, 10 deaths. So that is one aspect of it. The second aspect, we checked up because it is always better to have accident rate related with number of hours of flying. That also during past 10 years prior to the current 5 years period, that is up to 10-11, the number of accidents are 21 and the number of flyings is 4,82,567 hours, making it 0.44 accident per 10,000 flying hours. The current last 4 years data indicate 0.37 accidents per flying hour. As far as the point raised by you, I will only like to say that yes, the age of the helicopter fleet is increasing and we are trying to correct it. The serviceability and reliability, both are the factors. For purpose of serviceability, the ministry has given direction to HL to work out depot and store management at Srinagar as well as Misamar. So they will have a better stores available for better serviceability.
Thank you.
Reliability is also being looked into.
Second question.
Yeah, the point is that, as he had already mentioned, that we have aging aircrafts. Maybe it MiG, or if you look into the helicopter sector, this Cheetah and the Chetak fleets, these are 1960 vintages. I just want to know through you, sir, that whether these recurring corruption scandals in armed deals are working as an hindrance in getting our armed forces new helicopters and aircrafts.
This is about accidents.
It is about accident of helicopters only and the deaths.
Thank you.
But I will just like to mention that while some of the helicopters, Cheetah and Chetak, are aging, the new ALH introduced is very new introduction, and also the armed forces the Defence Acquisition Council has permitted for Make in India through joint ventures helicopters required for armed forces. So while HAL will be supplying the light ALH to the armed forces, Dhruv and Rudra, the attack helicopter version of it, there is also a proposal for getting Make in India through other route, private sector route, which will be a JV under the Make in India proposal. We have already floated RFI for it.
Thank you, Shri Shubhendu Shekhar Roy.
With reference to the last 3 lines of the reply given by the Honorable Minister, I would like to put a question whether anything has happened after the regular interactions reportedly carried out with the original equipment manufacturers to implement technical upgradations and modifications as recommended from time to time.
So this, because sir, that is what I mentioned. One of the problems which was faced by armed forces was every time serviceability was required, the spares had to be procured from Bangalore, HAL. So now we have asked HAL to create a store and a depot. Upgradation is continuous process. So that part, for the old helicopter, you have to only overhaul it. So that cannot be an upgradation in the old helicopter. New ones are being made. But the old ones, serviceability is a very important aspect. And for that purpose, spare availability has to be at the place where these helicopters are being used. So Srinagar and Mismar, these are 2 places where in coming months, armed depot, store depot of spares will be created so that the spares are available on the spot and serviceability improved.
Shri Mansukh Lal Mandavia.
सम्माननीय मंत्री जी ने जो बताया कि हेलीकॉप्टर की उम्र बढ़ गई है, वो थोड़ा सा ओल्ड हो गया है, लेकिन हमारे यहाँ जो मिग विमान ट्रेनिंग के लिए उपयोग किया जाता था मिलिट्री में, उस वक्त बहुत हमारे जो पायलट थे, हम उसको शहीद कहते हैं, वो शहीद हुए। और बाद में पता लगा जब उसकी जांच हुई उस वक्त कितने हमारे पायलट शहीद हो चुके थे, और बाद में उसमें टेक्निकल फॉल्ट निकला और बाद में हमने उसने सर्विस से हटा दिया। मेरा एक माननीय मंत्री जी से सवाल है कि चित्ता और ध्रुव हेलीकॉप्टर है, उसमें जो हमारे अभी एक्सीडेंट हुए हैं, एक्सीडेंट में जब एक्सीडेंट हुआ तब उनकी उड़ान ये ट्रेनिंग के लिए थी या और पर्पस के लिए थी, और दूसरा उसमें कोई टेक्निकल फॉल्ट पाया गया है? 2 मेरा क्वेश्चन है।
Speaker sir, regarding the accidents which have happened, we have analyzed the full data of 73 accidents over last 24 years, and we found that about 62% of them, 36% was due to human error of air crew, 3% was due to human error of ground crew, 23% was due to indecent weather, technical defect of the airframe and technical defect of aero engine together make up about 23%. The rest operation hazard 4%, cause which could not be identified 3%, and 8% are under investigation. So from that you will make out that 62% comes out of human error. So jo MiG ka whatever are the reasons for MiG, they are not exactly applicable here. One of the reason why one of the way accident could be reduced in that 23% bracket, technical bracket, is by making availability of more helicopters to function, for which the decision has been taken recently to create store depot in Srinagar and Mismar, so that fast, quick serviceability can be achieved.
Thank you, Shri Pawan Kumar Verma.
Has replied is a very routine reply about court of inquiry and human error. The fact of the matter, sir, is there is a long delayed project to acquire 197 new helicopters from abroad, and this has been scrapped 3 times over the last decade
due to technical deviations and allegations of corruption. The minister seems to be relying on HAL, which, as we know, has been declared 6, and it is nowhere close to supplying the 187 light helicopters it was supposed to make. Sir, in the interim, sir, therefore my question, sir, is that in the absence of upgraded and new technology in the form of new purchases, our pilots are flying in flying coffins. You cannot give a routine reply, sir, which only talks about court of inquiry and 0.44%. Each death matters, sir.
Please read the question. It's a very precise question.
Sir, I was, my apologies, sir, but I was reading with the question. The question is the remedial measures initiated therefore. And I am saying the remedial measures are the acquisition of more helicopters.
All right.
Very clear, number one, I have made it very clear that we have already approved in Defence Acquisition Council procurement of about 388, if I am not correct, if I am not mistaken, 388 helicopters for Army, Air Force and Navy application through Make-in project under JV, where latest technologies can be brought up. Process cannot be shortlisted. Process is going on. RFI is called from various joint ventures. 31st March is the last date for receiving all this data. After that, as fast as possible, I am trying to speed up the acquisition process. I understand the concern of the honorable member that Air Force and Army should get the best of the helicopters. But I will like to point out that 62% of the accidents have not happened because of the fault of helicopter or the equipment. At least 62. 23% was due to defect of, 23% was due to weather condition, and 39% are due to the error or human error, which cannot be attributed to the helicopter. So flying coffin is an good word, but I don't think it, it is not appropriate for this. I mentioned 73 crash over 24 years. I also indicated that from 1 per 10,000 hours of flying, accident rate of 1 per 10,000 hours has come down to 0.37, that is 1/3 over last 24 years. So number of accident per 10, you have to compare it with number of hours of flying, not year wise. In 1986, we had only 20 helicopters, so hours of flying was hardly about 6,000-7,000. Now we are flying almost 48 to 50,000 hours per year. So with compared to hours of flying, the number of accidents have come down from approximately more than 1 per 10,000 hours to 0.37 per 10,000 hours. 62% of the total accidents have happened because of human error or weather. Plus, the number of accidents themselves have come down in number. That's why I mentioned very clearly 6 months period cannot be a correct period for comparison. The period has to be 5 years left, for which I gave the figures, which very clearly indicates number coming down, and I do not accept the word flying coffin as appropriate. If there are some weaknesses, we are trying to strengthen them. At the same time, we are also trying to get the modern, but helicopters are not toys. They have to be manufactured with proper technological.
Thank you. Question number 80.
Question number 80, sir.
Yes, sir.
Statement is laid on the table of the House.
सर, जो रिप्लाई दिया है वो बहुत ही रूटीन रिप्लाई है। मेरा प्रश्न बहुत ही सामान्य प्रश्न है, जो सामान्य लोगों को हमेशा उसकी समस्या, जब लोग एयरपोर्ट पे पहुंचते हैं आजकल तो उनको लगता है कि समय की बर्बादी हो गई। आज हमारे देश में सामान्य से सामान्य आदमी भी हवाई जहाज से सफर करता है। कोई बीमार पड़ता है तो इलाज के लिए शहर में जाता है, कोई इंटरव्यू के लिए जाता है, उसको अर्जेंट जाना पड़ता है, कोई काम धंधे के लिए जाता है। हम भी जब मुंबई से दिल्ली में आते हैं और कहाँ जाते हैं तो सुबह 11 बजे सोमवार को, मंडे को हमको पार्लियामेंट पहुंचना होता है। हम सुबह 6 बजे की फ्लाइट लेते हैं, 5 बजे एयरपोर्ट पहुंचते हैं। हमेशा जब हम जाते हैं तो फ्लाइट डिले है, फ्लाइट कैंसल है और कोई जवाब नहीं होता उनके पास। ये सिर्फ हमारी समस्या नहीं है,
व्हाट्स द क्वेश्चन?
इस देश में सभी सामान्य लोगों की समस्या है और उनके पास कोई रिप्लाई नहीं होता है। प्राइवेट एयरलाइंस के पास खास करके वेदर के बारे में, या फॉग होता है, बारिश होता है, फ्लाइट कैंसिल होता है, डिले होता है, मान लेते हैं। लेकिन आपने जो हमें चार्ट दिया है, ये 12 महीने कितने फ्लाइट कैंसिल, 12 महीने कौन सा वेदर और बारिश की समस्या होती है?
सवाल पूछिए।
तो मेरा यह सवाल है सर कि यूरोपियन कंट्रीज में इस समस्या के लिए एक स्ट्रिजेंट कानून बना है। उस कानून के अनुसार उड़ान में अगर 3 घंटे से ज्यादा देरी होती है या किसी वजह से उड़ान रद्द होती है तो जो यात्री होता है, हकदार यात्री होता है, वो यात्रा से वंचित रखने पर एयरलाइंस को प्रति यात्री हिसाब से $600 का जुर्माने का भुगतान वो एयरलाइंस कंपनी को करना पड़ता है। क्या इस प्रकार का स्ट्रिजेंट कानून हम भी बनाएंगे तो हम सभी को उससे सुविधा होगी, देश को, प्राइवेट एयरलाइंस को भी डिसिप्लिन लगेगी? मैं यही पूछना चाहता हूं।
थैंक यू
Sir, the DGCA has issued a civil aviation regulation which quantifies what an airline has to do when things get delayed, say couple of hours this much, couple of hours that much. They have a scale on which it is going. Sir, most of the world over, ICAO puts this across, and most civil aviation authorities anywhere in the world follow it. It's more or less uniform everywhere, sir. I can reach those details out to the honorable member, and whatever we can together do to improve it, we will improve it, sir. Service disruptions are definitely, they are the worst thing in civil aviation, sir.
सेकंड क्वेश्चन।
सर, मेरा प्रश्न तो था इस देश के प्राइवेट एयरलाइंस के बारे में। हम सेटिस्फाई नहीं हो गए हैं और होंगे भी नहीं। इस प्रकार से रिप्लाई अगर आएगा तो हम होंगे भी, लेकिन सरकार की तरफ से एयर इंडिया का भी आपने ब्यौरा दिया है कि कितने फ्लाइट कैंसिल हुए। फ्लाइट जैसे कैंसिल होते हैं वैसे डिले भी इतने होते हैं, 4-4, 5-5 घंटा डिले होते हैं। और बहुत बार हमने ये अनुभव लिया है मुंबई एयरपोर्ट पे, खास करके दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट पे, हम वहां पहुंचते हैं और जहाज खड़ा है, वहां फ्लाइट आया है, लेकिन भाई फ्लाइट लेट क्यों हुआ? अब तक क्रू नहीं पहुंचा है। क्रू नहीं पहुंचा है, हमेशा हमें सुनना पड़ता है कि क्रू नहीं पहुंचा है। तो मेरा प्रश्न है माननीय मंत्री जी से कि क्या आपके पास क्रू की कमी है, पायलटों की कमी है? अगर क्रूज की वजह से फ्लाइट लेट होता है आपका एयर इंडिया का, तो आने वाले दिनों में आप न्यू रिक्रूटमेंट करने जा रहे हैं क्या?
Sir, the supplement is dealing with Air India. There is a lot of indiscipline besides shortage of staff, sir. They've gone into some recruitment advertisement also recently.
Please, listen to the answer. Be patient. जी।
Sir, we are trying to get out of this scenario of indiscipline, sir. Service disruptions are the worst thing, and our on-time performance is not good, sir. Even so, we are trying to improve on that side as far as Air India and other airlines are also concerned, sir. The regulations of the country have to be followed by all. Sir, and indiscipline has to be stamped out.
Thank you, Shri Kalita.
I have a short supplementary, and it's about cancellations, short cancellations and long cancellations. And I congratulate the minister about his last session's promise that he will do away with the long cancellations, and he has made the Tezpur and Lakhimpur airport operative by reintroducing his flights. My request and question is whether he is going to reintroduce the morning flights at 7:30 a.m. which was there from Air India earlier, and an evening flight from Delhi to Guwahati in the evening, whether he is going to reintroduce that and end the long cancellation of those flights. Thank you, sir.
Individual flights I can't straight away commit, but generally the effort is to increase the number of flights and increase connectivity to all rural and remote areas as we have it in the country.
Shri Avinash Rai Khanna.
धन्यवाद सर। मैं सिर्फ एक सिंपल क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहता हूं, अगर चार्ट देखा जाए कैंसलेशन का, तो इससे जो स्पाइस जेट है उसकी 2808 फ्लाइट्स एक समय में कैंसिल हुई हैं। तो मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि टोटल कितनी फ्लाइट्स थी और कितनी कैंसिल हुई हैं, ताकि एक कंपैरेटिव स्टडी जो है वो सदन के ध्यान में आ जाए, वो मुझे आंसर चाहिए।
Sir, I can reach out that information to him, sir, but cancellations, particularly in SpiceJet, it flew through turbulent weather, it almost crashed, sir, like Kingfisher earlier. So it is surviving now, and we are trying to reach as many places as are practically possible.
Shri Achyutan.
broadcasting one.
I can reach out.
By Air India. Sir, about the cancellation. Just some 10 days back, you have cancelled a flight to Cochin flight. Before that, there was a flight to Trivandrum that was cancelled 5:30 in the evening, and instead it permanently cancelled. And instead of it, we have got only one flight to Trivandrum from Delhi, New Delhi, the longest route, the most profitable route. That is in the evening, 6 o'clock. So, as chairman, we have represented MPs, we have represented many times to the concerned authorities that it must be on time. But you will be surprised, in no day that flight is on time, because the aircraft has to come from Kathmandu. You are getting that aircraft from Kathmandu and going to Trivandrum, the longest route, and many times we will be reaching at Trivandrum at 1 o'clock in the night. Early morning. Then and sometimes 2 o'clock. So, and only one flight. So I request the minister, and what is your reaction? We personally requested you, and you said we will instruct. But it is impossible for a flight coming from Kathmandu to take it to Trivandrum on the same day. And on time. It is because the weather condition and so many. But you please, you introduce a flight at 6 o'clock from here, and reinstate the cancelled flight to Cochin and Trivandrum.
Please, okay, all right. That's a suggestion.
No, sir. Cancellations are in future they will cancel the flight or not?
Suggestion is well taken.
Sir, the suggestion is well taken, sir. There's no problem with that, sir. I'm sorry about our on-time performance of Air India, sir. In fact, there's nothing to be proud of it. We are trying to put strategies in place where they can improve their on-time performance. And if that happens, honorable members' difficulties will definitely be taken care of. And we hope that Air India will be able to perform on time.
Question 81.
Piecemeal.
Question 81. Supplementary, please.
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर। सर, हमारी लोक संस्कृति लोक बहुत समृद्ध है सर। और जगह जगह लोक कला लोक संस्कृति के लोग फैले हुए हैं सर, लेकिन उनको सही तरह से प्लेटफॉर्म मिलने के नहीं वजह से उनकी लोक कला लोक संस्कृति दम तोड़ती जा रही सर। मेरा माननीय जी मंत्री जी से ये कहना है कि जहां तक मेरी जानकारी में है, क्लासिकल म्यूजिक या संस्कृति के लिए शायद पद हैं, तो क्या माननीय मंत्री जी इस दम तोड़ती हुई लोक कला लोक संस्कृति के लिए भी आर्थिक रूप से वो लोग सक्षम हो और अपनी कला का उनको प्लेटफॉर्म मिले और सही तरह से वो प्रदर्शन कर सके, क्या ऐसी सरकार के पास कोई योजना है या कुछ करना चाह रहे हैं?
सर, माननीय सदस्य का जो सवाल है फोक सॉन्ग्स और ट्राइबल सॉन्ग्स के ऊपर ये बेस्ड है। ऐसी कोई पोस्ट फिक्स्ड पोस्ट नहीं है सर। उसका कारण ये है कि इतनी विभिन्नता है फोक सॉन्ग्स की कि अगर हम फिक्स्ड पोस्ट रखेंगे तो सॉन्ग्स के अंदर, आकाशवाणी के अंदर विभिन्नता नहीं आ पाएगी। एक हर स्टेशन पे एक पैनल बनाया जाता है और उस पैनल पर ग्रेडेड आर्टिस्ट को असाइनमेंट बेसिस पर आमंत्रित करा जाता है। ये जो ग्रेडेड असाइनमेंट्स जो पैनल्स बनते हैं, ये लोकल स्टेशन पे बनते हैं, रीजनल स्टेशन पे बनते हैं और सेंट्रल बोर्ड बनाती है। और ये 4 इसके अंदर ग्रेडेशंस होते हैं, बी, बी हाई, ए और ए टॉप। इन सभी आर्टिस्ट को इनकी ग्रेडिंग के हिसाब से इनको रिइंबर्समेंट और रिन्यूमरेशन मिलता है।
सेकंड क्वेश्चन।
सर, मेरा प्रश्न माननीय मंत्री जी से है कि कितना अमाउंट आप उनको देते हैं ग्रेडेशन के हिसाब से? जहां तक मेरी जानकारी बहुत कम है सर। और आप जो बोल रहे हैं सर कि बहुत सारी कलाएं बिखरी हैं सर, स्टेट वाइज क्या उनको, जैसे मैं जहां से आती हूँ वहां निमाड़ का एरिया है सर, निमाड़ की संस्कृति बहुत समृद्ध है, तो क्या ऐसी योजना बनाएंगे? क्योंकि ये हर जगह हर संस्कृति पूरे देश के अंदर नहीं है सर, स्टेट वाइज है, तो क्या राज्यवार ये ऐसी कोई योजना बनाएंगे ताकि उस दम तोड़ती हुई संस्कृति को, जो गांव के अंदर फैले हुए हैं, जो गरीब लोग हैं, जो अपनी संस्कृति को उनको प्लेटफॉर्म नहीं मिलने की वजह से वो अपनी प्रदर्शन नहीं कर पाते सर, तो क्या आर्थिक रूप से उनको सक्षम करने के लिए, ताकि संस्कृति और लोक कला जिंदा रहे, क्योंकि ये देश हमारी संस्कृति के बेस के आधार पर वर्ल्ड में पहचाना जाता है, तो क्या ऐसी विभिन्न संस्कृतियों को जिंदा रखने के लिए आप शासन कोई ऐसा महत्वपूर्ण योजना बनाएगी जिसके कारण हमारा देश पहचाना जा रहा है?
थैंक यू
सर, योजना पहले से भी बनी हुई है और एक नई योजना भी हमने शुरू करी है। नई योजना के बारे में मैं आपको थोड़ी देर में बतलाता हूं। उससे पहले आपका जो पहला वाला सवाल था उसका मैं जवाब दे देता हूं। जो 4 ग्रेड मैंने आपको बतलाए सर, उसमें जो बी ग्रेड है, जो सबसे नीचे वाला ग्रेड है, उसके अंदर आर्टिस्ट को आधे घंटे या 40 मिनट का कार्यक्रम होता है, उसके लिए 1700 रुपयों का पेमेंट होता है सर। उसके बाद बी ग्रेड जो उससे एक ऊपर है, बी हाई, उसके अंदर 3000 रुपये का पेमेंट होता है। उसके बाद ए ग्रेड है, ए ग्रेड के अंदर 7400 का पेमेंट होता है। और ए टॉप जो सर्वश्रेष्ठ ग्रेड है, उसके अंदर 11000 रुपयों का पेमेंट होता है। जो नई स्कीम जो अभी लॉन्च हुई है वो है संस्कार गीत। ये जो फोक सॉन्ग्स हैं, ट्राइबल सॉन्ग्स हैं, इनको तो फिर भी एक अवसर मिल जाता है, लेकिन कई गाने ऐसे हैं, कई गीत ऐसे हैं जो संस्कारों पर आधारित हैं। कहीं फसल हो रही है या फसल की कटाई हो रही है या कोई बच्चा पैदा होता है, तो वो जो गीत हैं वो धीरे धीरे खत्म होते जा रहे हैं। तो संस्कार गीत के अंदर सरकार का ये निर्णय है कि 2016 के आखिर तक कम से कम 9 लाख गाने ऐसे रिकॉर्ड करे जाएंगे।
थैंक यू श्री, गो अहेड।
सर, दूरदर्शन एक ऐसी चैनल थी कि उसका आज भी संगीत हमारे कानों में और दिलो दिमाग में एक प्रसन्नता प्राप्त करता है। आज सभी चैनल आ गई है देश में, सभी मॉडर्नाइजेशन हो गया, इफेक्टिव हो गई, लेकिन आज तक हमारी ये दूरदर्शन जो चैनल है वो उसको मॉडर्न करने और उसको इफेक्टिव करने के लिए सरकार के पास कोई ऐसी ठोस योजना है कि वही चैनल वापस हमारे पास में आ जाए?
सर, मॉडर्नाइजेशन का जो प्रोसेस है वो एक कॉन्टिन्यूइंग प्रोसेस है। प्रसार भारती ये यकीन करती है कि दूरदर्शन के पास लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी का इक्विपमेंट हो, उसके साथ साथ उस लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी के अंदर जो ट्रेनिंग होगी वो भी शुरू करवाई जाएगी।
Question are over. The house is adjourned till 1:30 p.m.
1:30.